Hello, my name's Neil Fearn. I'm managing director of a solicitor practice practicing clinical negligence claims. We have a team that specialise in this area, and I'm going to say a few words about some thoughts around maternity services today. I've been conducting clinical negligence claims for about 30 years, in excess of 30 years. And the areas that I've focused on are obstetric claims, maternity claims, so claims on behalf of mothers and on behalf of children injured at the birth. And one of the areas that sort of concerns me and has become more and more apparent is that the number of claims is not decreasing at all. In actual fact, the perception is that the number of claims is increasing significantly, and some of the seriousness of the claims that we're pursuing is also increasing. So for many years I didn't see maternal deaths featuring as part of the caseload, but more and more I'm seeing that happen, and we're getting involved in inquests. Babies have survived in these circumstances, but the mother has been allowed to pass, sadly. And it just raises the concern that maternity services generally are struggling and facing more and more pressure as the years go by. And the hope and aspiration is that babies don't get injured or killed. Mothers don't get injured or killed. And the burden on the NHS is reduced. And what I'm saying in that regard is that looking at the NHS's NHS resolution accounts for 2022-2023, they give some statistics for the overall cost of the harm inflicted upon patients by the NHS, and they give a value for that of around 6.6 million. Of that 6.6 billion. Of that 6.6 billion, they attribute 63% to maternity services. So to the damages and costs associated with harm caused in the maternity setting. So that's around £4.2 billion. And to put that into some sort of context, it appears that the actual cost of delivering maternity and neonatal services is much less than that, at around £3 billion. So it just seems perverse that just on the numbers alone, that the cost of putting things right is more than the cost of actually delivering the service to start off with. And it just seems to be that it screams out for more money to be pumped into the initial service to avoid the harm and to avoid the cost. And that seems so obvious, but equally difficult to deliver. We've seen of late a number of inquiries, a number of reports prepared. The Ockenden report that relates to Shrewsbury is one example, and I know that there's inquiries being called for in relation to Nottingham and the maternity services delivered there. It's so sad that we have to go through these long-running and expensive reporting processes to try and start to put things right. And the thing is, it seems to be against a tide of not only a lack of funding, but also the disenfranchisement of those that are working in maternity services, the ones that are more senior, the midwives that have been doing it for years and years and years and have got the skills, seem to be wanting to leave due to the pressures of the roles they're in. So that is such a valuable asset to the NHS, and one that will only lead potentially to a worsening of outcomes.
So it's a really sad picture, and one that I recently heard an obstetrician describe as only getting worse all the time. So what can be done about this? Well, I don't have the answers, but it does seem to be such a priority. I know that there are concerns about other areas of medical practice, but it seems due to the effect it has on children and the effect it has on mothers, on children for life in many cases, it seems to be that this has to be a priority to be looked at and resources pumped into. They're the observations that I have, and I just hope that if we have got a new government coming along, that this becomes a priority for them to resolve.